Hi guys, welcome to this YouTube series. I'm Anisha Gupta and we're talking about cryptocurrencies which have had a triple-digit percentage gain in this year, and this is a build-up on previous year, and that time we also saw triple-digit percentage gains there. And this, while has caught investors' fancy, the central banks are slightly uncomfortable with that, and they are talking about digital currencies here. So what is a digital currency and how does it work is exactly what we are talking in our series today. Well, digital money is not tangible like a dollar bill or an Indian rupee or a coin for that matter. It is accounted for and transferred via computers. Digital money is exchanged using technologies such as smartphones, credit cards, and online cryptocurrency exchanges as well at some point in time. Digital currencies are actually central bank digital currencies. So they are called CBDCs as well. So these currencies are quite prevalent. The central banks are talking about it a lot, and they promise less volatility, greater security. In addition, they will also have the support of their respective monetary institution responsible for ensuring financial stability. The European Central Bank, the Chinese Central Bank already are in middle of trying these digital currencies there. We've had the Indian Central Bank as well talk about a digital currency. There also is a bill in the parliament tabled because of this. What we do understand as of now is that the European Central Bank is looking to test their digital currency by mid of this year. As far as China goes, well, they are looking to have a digital yuan fully operational by 2022. So much so that China says that in the longer term, the Chinese government is planning for a digital currency to replace its physical currency across the country. So, well, yes, as I said, there are big plans coming in from various central banks. This is happening as society wants to go cashless here. One possibility on how we look at this is on the technology that it would be put on. So a possibility is that it could be perhaps on the blockchain technology. What this would do is that when digital currencies are put on blockchain technology, they allow for a greater transparency, monitoring of information, transactions, and movement that is carried on here. Talking about cashless society, and while we come back from a pandemic kind of an year, being contactless, going cashless are some of the themes that really seem to be working right now. I want to put out a couple of points which really differentiate the cryptocurrency and the digital currency. The major thing here is the way it is being issued. About digital currencies, it is officially backed digital currency. It will be issued centrally and will be backed by the respective central banks. When it comes to cryptocurrencies, it is a distributed ledger technology, which is also called as DLT. Another main difference that you have in both of these currencies is that the one that is backed by central bank will have less volatility, which is not the case in cryptocurrencies as we have already seen. And that really is the major difference here. The markets are immature. We've seen 20-30% of a move come in for a cryptocurrency, which will not be a case for the digital currency. So there is much more security here. Now, when we talk about the characteristics of digital currencies, the Bank of International Settlements, or BIS, has listed up to 14 characteristics that will make this type of a currency. I'm just quickly going to run you through the key highlights onto this one. So the main 5 or 6 points here are the highlights of CBDCs, that is that the conversion and the value will be the same as is the case with the physical money, and the volatility will be avoided. The second is they will be accepted and available for all types of online and offline transactions 24/7. Its cost is going to be low and almost zero in the moments of creation and final distribution of the money. They are going to be safe and resilient system at all times against possible cyber attacks, system failures, or disruptions for that matter. They will be operable between banking systems. Also, this is going to be most important. And then there will be a robust and legal currencies thanks to the support of the central bank. So the major thing really comes back to the fact that it is going to be backed by a central bank. So that is where it gets its value, volume, surety, and stability as well coming in from. What would these CBDCs do? Well, they will ensure that the public has access to the legal tender if cash tomorrow, if it was phased out, as China is talking about right now. The CBDC would ensure that the public have access to the legal tender if they want to use it at any point in time. It's a legally recognized form of payment, and they can represent a claim of that on their respective central bank or the government for that matter. It also would give you a very efficient payment system. It is going to be both retail and a large value payment system, so it will actually cater to both kind of groups here. On the retail's transaction toward a less cash society, if that is what the governments are working with, we have seen that happen in India when we saw demonetization. Africa is going very strong in that way. A lot of people which are not banking are unbanked. This is yet another way to reach out to them, because everybody has a phone right now or a computer right now. So going cashless is going to be big, and that is exactly where this comes in as well. The digital currency is available to public without restriction. It is recognized as a legal tender of the country. This is going to be one big major achievement here. And it can take different forms based on either existing payment infrastructure technology or the new crypto technology. Crypto technology, as I said, various governments are looking at already, because they give you way more transparency and ease of transformation. The central bank directly guarantees the at-par convertibility of CBDC into cash and or reserves. Now, this is going to be important, because when people go digital or when they go cashless, they would at all times have the backing from the central bank on this one. The important is on whether it's actually going to be used as, or talked about as cash. Will the central bank choose to pay an interest rate on your CBDC liabilities? Will you be seen into the same infrastructure? The broader monetary policy, the financial stability objectives, would all of that apply to this, is yet another thing that the governments are working with. Is the reason that even as the CBDCs as a conversation began in the last year, but it would perhaps be by the mid of this year that you would have the first pilot or the first trial itself coming in. There is just lots to talk about on what would really be the availability of it, who all can access it, how much, what would really be the quantum of it, whether it would fall below within the liabilities in sense of interest rates and etc. Financial stability is something that each government will have to work upon by themselves. As of now, the lead is absolutely being taken by China. Europe perhaps is the second one onto this. India has started this conversation, but we still need to understand what technology would be played in this and what would be the guidelines, clauses that would come in that. So while the conversations have begun, as I said, it wouldn't be before 2022 that we see the first of this come in. And for the Indian markets as well, it is going to be perhaps a couple of years or even more before we actually see a digital currency coming in. In the meanwhile, it is really about cryptocurrencies, where we have seen a lot of volatility, but the kind of volatility and more participation that we see coming from retail or professional investors would perhaps push central banks to hurry in this regard.